Hey, good morning. It's Friday, July 17th. Thanks for being here. The thought for this morning is about how big is God to you? Is he a big God? Is he a bigger version of you? Is he a small God? Or maybe more, they'll click better with you. How big are people to you? How big are the fears that you have of people, both in the past, the present, the situation that's going on? Fear for how big is the government? How big is all the issues? Are all the issues swirling around us? Are they all bigger than God? Is God somehow out to lunch on coffee break with all the unrest, with the advance of the COVID, back and forth? The numbers fluctuate all the time. There's no doubt things are happening. I've got a good friend who had it, young man, and was getting over it and then got pneumonia, which is a common occurrence with it. But in any event, the question is, how big is God? We may think of it in terms of how big are events, how big are people, how big are situations, how big is my sin, but the key component is, how big is God? The Old Testament and the New Testament are meant to join together like this to help us out. When we don't put them together, we waste one of the great works of the Holy Spirit. We don't value it because he wrote to make the Bible come together as a cohesive, organic whole to make our life work. So you've got David in his life, particularly early on. And when he goes out to visit his brothers and bring them some supplies, and they're facing the Philistines and Goliath, everyone there is afraid of Goliath. And Goliath's 9 feet tall. He's a serious player. And as Rich Bones referred to him, he's a giant killing machine. And he gave this challenge to the Israelites. He says, hey, send somebody out here to fight me. If you win, we give up. If I win, you give up. And the Israelites were scared to death because they knew there was no way they could handle this monster, this killing machine, this man that was literally 9 feet tall. David shows up and he looks around and he hears Goliath come out and issue this challenge, mocking God and mocking Israel and the armies of Israel. And David looks around at these men and says, what is wrong with you people? This man is mocking God. Who is this uncircumcised, unwashed Philistine that comes and challenges our God? And he gets a lot of protests, mocking even his own brothers. The king doubts him, tries to put armor on David, and David makes it clear to them, the armor is not the issue. He goes out to fight Goliath with the 5 little stones and a slingshot against this monster because he understood who the giant was. The giant wasn't Goliath. The giant is God. And when you make people, situations, your fears, no matter when it happens, when you make that the giant, you're going to serve the giant. Even if you hate it, you're going to serve it. But if you make God the giant, you're going to serve him, and the human giant's not going to be an issue. So Jesus connects this story for us in the Sermon on the Mount, and he simply says, no one can serve 2 masters. You'll either hate the one and love the other, you'll serve the one and mock the other. You can't serve both. That's how the two come together. That's how this story helps us understand what Jesus is talking about. And Jesus is no doubt referring to these types of events when the people of God made someone else the giant other than God. There's only one giant. There's only one ruler. There's only one Lord. And if you try to make someone else in God's place, you will serve down and bow that fear of that person, that situation, that thing. Your dreams will be affected. Your life will be affected. Everything around you. But over a period of time, as you begin to see God as the true giant, and not just an angry giant like Goliath was, but a benevolent giant that loves you, that gave his life for you, that deeply understands your deepest fears and is there to weep with you and help you and strengthen you. Then seeing God as the true giant becomes an act of worship and love and joy. Who's the giant in your world? Trust God, because he's the one. You have a great day. Bye-bye.